What's going on, guys? Welcome to today's video. This is an exciting one because today we are going to be putting the motor and gearbox into the S14. Here's the old Gilch chilling in the garage here. In the last video, you guys saw me put the front and rear subframes in this. The front subframe was originally out of my track car. Being the old setup out of the track car, it's going to be perfect for this. We've got a subframe with our steering rack that's been moved 30mm forward, 30mm extended LCAs, cut knuckles, extended tie rods, suspension, big brakes, everything ready to go. As for the rear, this is only temporary just so we can make the dyno. I pulled the subframe out of my other street S14 just so we can get it ready for the dyno, but my actual subframe that we're going to do some solid bushes, subframe reinforcement brackets, and maybe even look at powder coating. That one will go in just before we do our first track day. First job on the cards today is I've got to put my flywheel and my clutch onto the back of the motor. So this is the motor that we are going to be putting in this car. For now, this is my old motor out of the track car. This is basically just stock standard, internally Series 2 25DET. It's got a front facing plenum on it. It's got some aftermarket coils, and it's got a top mount setup. Today I'm going to be putting the stock manifold on just so I've got something to tie a strap to so we can lift the motor up. I've actually got to go and pull the manifold and wastegate off of the Safiro because I actually robbed that from this motor to put onto the Safiro, but now I'm going to rob it off the Safiro to put back onto this. This is the clutch that we are going to be using. I got this off a mate second hand. It's a Mantic 4-puck. As you can see, it's not a sprung center clutch. It's quite a harsh clutch, but at 400 horsepower and not constant watt hours, hopefully we can keep my big box alive. Should be sweet, but when we do get my new motor built from Car Aid and we get that in before the season, I will look at getting a stronger gearbox. The Navarro ones are arguably a little bit stronger, but the main thing actually is if you do blow one, you can go and get another one for however much and just swap all the guts over. As well, if you blow one of those, that's like $3.5, $4 grand down the drain. Before you go put a flywheel on, always remember the sandwich plate. I have forgotten this multiple times. About to torque these flywheel bolts up to spec. Look who showed up. Hey T.
Mount your doors and shit properly.
Yep.
So they don't fucking fall in.
Dude, I think it's the passenger one that's fucking bad. Like you open it up and it pretty much just falls off the car.
Still needs to come up a wee bit.
Right, so we've got the clutch and sandwich plate, flywheel on the back of the motor. So now we're about to chuck the gearbox on.
Got some bolts?
I did just before. Oh, they're over here. Here's something I prepared earlier, mate.
Oh yeah. Got a washer? Got a flat washer for this one too? And you got a spring on it?
Mate, I went through. I'm still in the process of cleaning everything up, but starting to slowly organise shit.
These three just need flat washers. Couple of bolts by your feet, I think. One in there and then one down there.
Hang on, there's one longer. This gearbox is on tight. We're just about to start putting these mounts on. Tyler's putting the passenger side on. I'm going to put the driver's side. Do you want to chuck that manifold on?
Yeah, sure.
Ching, spinning thing.
Mate, there ain't no chin-chang spinning thing going near that motor. Or that car.
Bro, there's nothing wrong with chin chang spinny thing. That BMW is solid as on a chin chang spinny thing.
Nah, my last China turbo almost cost me that motor.
Well, you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
That would not be a lesson learnt if you did that again. Versus a lesson learnt's all good.
Yeah, at least I can kind of learn the lesson without having to blow the motor.
Yeah.
Like this, I think it was when we went to, it was when we went to pull this motor out of the other car when I went to put the big box on it. And when we were pulling it out, Mike was just fucking around with the turbo and just noticed it. Like literally the turbo, you could shift it up and down several mil.
Yeah.
It had gotten so bad that it started eating away the blades because it was rubbing against the housing.
One of my Zephy did that as well. And it was actually that bad that it would like make this horrible noise and then come on boost and then come off boost again and just like fizz. It sounded like it was fizzing. And then I pulled the intake filter off, shit, to have a look, and the whole front shaft just come out. the exhaust propeller wasn't even there, it was somewhere down in my exhaust.
Let's do with those side pipes too.
Bloody chassis people taking advantage of the fact that their cars are missing half a chassis rail, spitting side pipes out the side. Put that on YouTube, people will be like, what the fuck? Missing half a chassis rail? What the fuck does he mean?
So what he means by missing half a chassis rail is, I'm actually not going to talk about it, I'll just show you guys. Silvia's, they don't have the complete chassis rail all the way to the back. It only goes to there and then it stops. So you've got all of this space back here to be able to shove a side pipe out of. Motor and gearbox is pretty much ready to go in the car. We've just put the manifold on so we can get the strop on and lift the motor with. It's just about there, mate.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Joel, this is the easiest fucking motor input I've ever had to do. Stand here and hand some tools, push some spinners. Rate that. Perfect.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, perfect, Joel, right there. Let the jack down a bit, Joel. Yep.
This one's in.
That one's in, alright, so if you lower the gearbox just a little bit, even if it comes down an inch, Joel. Yep. Big box, S chassis, haven't hit the tunnel.
Hey?
Big box, S chassis, haven't hit the tunnel.
Haven't hit the tunnel.
Yeah, it's hitting where the starter motor housing is. Yeah, it's just that one spot. Even if you had a pinch bar and you could like, or some vice grips. No shit, Joel. Had my best meal in 6 weeks today. This fella drove past it, seen it, pulled straight in there, was like, you want to feed? So I hadn't thought about it, hadn't had time to think about it. Jax is a cunt too though with the big box. But I'm pretty sure I smashed it, yeah, with the sledgehammer.
Yeah, so we're just doing a little trick. We're loosening off this motor mount just so we can angle it. Ooh, at the chassis rail. Just so we can angle it into the subframe and then we can just guide it down from there. Annoying, I wasn't recording, but we lowered the gearbox a little bit and I literally just gave it a little kick and it went in. Realised that I have one of the wrong engine mounts, so I'm going to shoot to the lockup and grab that. I'm also going to grab the manifold and the wastegate off the Silvia so we can chuck that on as well. Because yeah, the motor's sitting on the piss. R34 spotted in the wild. It's a bit different to your one, eh?
Oh hell yes, that's way thin, boy, thin.
What are you considering?
Well, I would potentially maybe just put a flat bit of wood under that wing sump.
Oh, you mean just jack the motor up?
Yeah, just this corner. Across this bit of wood across here because it'll support the weight and just hold the weight to change this one bracket.
Winged and baffled sump. Plenty strong to do this. Before your keyboard warriors get in there.
Yeah.
I might just take this nut off this now it's like come up there.
What are you talking about?
Oh, never mind then. Mate, you're just too good. It's literally role reversal. I was doing most of the work the other couple of weeks on fucking your car and Jackson's car, now you're doing most of the work on my car.
Well, just because this is straightforward, bro, I can actually do this. It's not going to destroy my life for the day. Versus what I asked you to do last week would have destroyed my life for the day. But imagine if you were actually like having to try and do this in a normal engine bay where you had like
oh yeah,
all the guards and shit.
Well, we actually had to swap an engine mount out in the Silvia. Way harder than not having a front end. Matt and Tyler have shot off home. Big shout out to those guys for giving me a hand. Many hands make light work. But a little update on where we're at with the car. So we've got the motor and the gearbox in. The gearbox is currently being held up by my jack because I don't have the right cross member at the moment. Unfortunately, I didn't bring a Allen key to the lockup, so I couldn't take the exhaust manifold off the RB20 and the Silvia because I have Allen head bolts on that. So we're just gonna have to leave that for this video. And just after that clip, my GoPro died. I didn't have another battery charged up, so I'm just filming this outro the next morning. But last night I ended up mocking up the loom and the engine harness, mocked up the radiator and the intercooler. The main reason for getting the motor and gearbox in actually was so, yeah, I could get the harness mocked up so Hayden could actually come and have a look at what he needs to sort out for the wiring. And Robbie actually also came over and had a little look over this thing, and we sort of made a plan on what we need to do for fabrication work next week, because we have a week left until June. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done, but I actually need to pull the motor and gearbox back out of this thing, which will be in another video, because this thing is real filthy. So I want to go through and water blast this whole inside, give it a scrub, make it nice and clean, and then once that's done, then yeah, we can chuck the motor and gearbox back in, put the turbo manifold on, because yeah, I've still got to go and grab those, probably go and grab those later today. Once that's done, it's pretty much ready for fabrication. Hayden can do some wiring stuff, and then we're on for tune. So I'm getting excited. I can't wait to drive this thing. But that will be it for this video, guys. Appreciate all the support. You know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you tomorrow.